Hi everyone and welcome to KB4girls Foundation. Today we have an interview with Johanna, who's our new ambassador. Hi Johanna.
Hi everyone and welcome to my backyard in Punta Cana, Panama.
Thank you so much for having us. Johanna, will you be able to tell us a bit more about who you are and a bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 28 years old, originally from Sweden in Scandinavia. I spent the last decade living abroad. I spent a couple of years living in London in the UK, and I spent some time in Cape Town, South Africa, and recently I lived a few years in Copenhagen in Denmark. A few months back I decided to pause my corporate career as a management consultant to go and make a full-time commitment to kite surfing and to improve my skills. Because for me, my personal goals are just as important as my professional goals. And I got an opportunity to come here to Punta Cana with the Rider Experience team to go and do kite surfing every day.
Sounds like you've had a great couple of months.
Yeah, this season has been amazing. The wind has been blowing consistently and strong basically every day, so it's been really good.
So Johanna, we all know that kite surfing is not the easiest sport to learn. So will you be able to tell us a bit more about the challenges you've been facing learning how to kite surf, and also have you managed to overcome them?
Yeah, I think that all kite surfers can sign off on that it's not an easy sport to learn. I struggled a lot in the beginning, and I reached a point where I actually told myself that, okay, Johanna, you love this sport, but is it really for you? But a friend of mine, he kept pushing me and gave me a few tips. So I gave myself a second chance and went out on the water again, and then I had this massive click moment, and I think you will hear about this click moment from other kiteboarders as well. And it was just since then just been completely in love with the sport, and I try to spend all my available time out on the water.
So now you're mentioning water, but obviously also the wind. So kite surfing includes two natural forces which you can't control. So have you ever faced any danger when you kite surf?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a little bit scary in the beginning because I haven't done any water sports or board sports previously. And adding to the fact that you can't really control the natural forces, it was a little bit scary in the beginning. But I was surrounded with people that I trust and that was looking after me. And it's just such a rewarding sport. And I think, say, I used to be a show jumper with horses. And I think that it's a similar sport because you have this element of uncertainty. If it's a horse that has its own feelings, or if it's a kite in the wind. And it's just when you reach to that point when you can be one with that element and actually be able to read it and feel it and go with it. That's such a rewarding feeling, and that's why I love this sport.
It really sounds like you've learned a lot. Do you feel like there's certain elements of kite surfing that you've been able to apply to different parts of your life?
Yeah, I mean, it might sound cliche, but you can do so much more than you think you can, and I think that could be applied to anything that you do in life. If you don't give up and continue to work against your goals, it can happen. And I think that's what gives me a lot about kite surfing, is that you put up these goals and you practice really hard, and you can actually do it. And that's that aspect you can apply in your work life or your personal life. So I think that's a good lesson for me.
So you mentioned goals. Now that you've learned how to kite surf, what is driving you to continue, and what are your next steps within kite surfing?
Obviously, this is a sport you can develop so much in, and there's always constantly something you can learn or develop, or a trick to improve, or anything. But what is also can be a little bit challenging is that if you learn a trick, then you might get comfortable and not push yourself anymore. So what I try to do is that I always set up goals for myself. If it's a trick I need to improve, or if it's a new trick I need to learn, I try to put a timeline for that and to push myself. But adding to that, I think it's also very important to be able to talk about the sport and talk through the tricks with beginners. Maybe give beginners tricks that you struggle with yourself, or surround yourself with better kiteboarders that you can be inspired from. So in a sense, that's a two-way street, and that you can always develop, even though you've been doing it for years, or if you're a beginner. So that's what I really like about the sport.
So you were talking about timeline, and obviously now the season is almost over in Panama.
Unfortunately.
So what are your next plans?
So this summer I've been lucky to represent Kiteboarding for Girls on the Rider Experience's kiteboarding sailing cruises, and we will do 2 trips, one in the beginning of June in Greece and one in the end of June in Sardinia. And it will be a week packed with loads of kite surfing. We will sail to remote islands, we will snorkel, we will do stand-up paddleboarding, we will do some yoga, eat good food, have drinks on deck, watch the sunset, and it will just be an amazing week with cool girls.
Well,
that's what I'm looking forward to.
It definitely sounds like an experience worth looking for.
Yeah, I hope you girls can make it with me.
So thank you so much, Johanna. We have one last question. KB4 for Girls is obviously super excited to have you as our ambassador. But the last question is, what is driving you to become a part of this network?
I actually had a very nice hands-on experience of this a few months ago, where I spent a week in a house with a group of very enthusiastic kiteboarding girls, and it was such a nice experience. We had a great vibe, and I've never experienced that before with girls, because obviously this is a relatively male-dominated sport, and just being able to share that with other kite girls is just an amazing experience. And we were pushing each other on the water, having competitions, who learned the trick the fastest. We had so much fun on the beach, helping each other in the house. You can just, with girls, you can just talk about anything and everything, and it just creates a really, really nice environment to be in. And that's why it's so good as well with Kiteboarding for Girls, is that we need to increase the ratio between men and women in this sport. And that's why I really like to be an ambassador to push more girls to get into the fabulous world of kite surfing. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you so much again, Johanna, and thank you for having us in Panama.
Thank you for coming, and see you this summer.
All the best of luck!